Hi, Jason Allen Cocker with ABC, hitting coordinator for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm going to run through your video today. I'm going to talk about a few things, and a lot of the things that I talk about with my hitters. The first thing I look at in your setup position, you're balanced, you look comfortable, you're at a good width for your height. The first thing I notice when we start to get into the load process, your hands go back nicely. It just looks to me we tend to overstride just a little bit, and the front knee will get outside that front foot. We want to keep that front knee inside that stride foot because that's leverage. The front knee will firm up, and then the barrel will extend through the hitting zone, and it will just maximize power and bat speed through the hitting zone. So that might be one thing that we'll do, is just try to shorten up your stride just a little bit and get you just a little bit more leverage by keeping that knee inside the front foot. Okay, I'm going to slow it down now. We'll go to the loaded position, okay, and I'm going to take it to the toe touch position right about there. This particular time, this is where all hitters look alike. It doesn't matter if it's Pujols or Ichiro. They're going to all look alike at this particular time. Okay, what we want to see is we want to see equal bend in both knees. Okay, we're pretty good there. Knees need to be inside the feet. Okay, hips need to be square, and we can see here your front hip is starting to leak open just a little bit to the pull side. Hips need to be square. The hands we want the hands at shoulder height, separated behind the back knee, which is good. Got just a little bit of a flat bat. I'd rather see the bat angle more up in this direction right here. When that bat gets a little bit flat and that front hip starts to leak open just a little bit, we have a tendency to sweep the bat through as opposed to connecting and then really releasing the barrel of the bat, almost like we're skipping a rock across a lake, or we're hammering a nail sideways. This particular time your elbow has already started to drop down. I'd rather see that elbow more in this position right here. Okay, I'm going to erase these lines. I'm going to go back. In fact, let me just keep the lines there. Okay, here's your setup position right here. All right, now we're going to run this forward to stride right about here. Okay, at the stride, we're striding almost probably a foot, maybe even more than a foot. And that kind of causes the elbow to kind of drop down too early. That gets our bat angle away from this 45-degree angle here. What I'd like to see you do, Jason, is just cut this stride in half. And instead of striding all the way out to here, we're going to start here and then just cut that stride in half. We're going to take about a 5 to 6 inch stride, and that's just going to put your lower half in a better position with a better base to keep our hips squared up. The other thing that I notice with that stride foot, when the stride foot lands, we want this stride foot right here to be no more open than 45 degrees, and we're at about 54 degrees right here. That is probably the biggest thing that causes this front hip to want to leak open just a little bit early. Okay, if we can keep this stride foot more to 45, that keeps that front hip in there, and that allows us to handle not only pitches in, but also pitches middle, and then the tougher pitches that are away, outer half, outer third. Will also give us the ability to handle breaking balls, change-ups, anything that's off speed. Okay, so let's just cut that stride in half, and let's try to get it right here in this angle, or in that position right there. Okay, we'll run forward. As I mentioned, your elbow is kind of already dropped down, but as we start to get to contact, okay, I start to see, really, I see some good things. This pitch probably looks to be middle in, and I see that the hands are palm up, palm down at contact. And the other thing I see, Jason, is your head and eyes are looking right down the barrel of the bat at contact. And really, we couldn't get in a more perfect position at the point of contact. We need to remember that as soon as the head and eyes come up out of the swing, the barrel of our bat is going to follow that. So it's a very good habit to get into, whether you're hitting in a cage off a tee or soft toss or flips, or even taking batting practice prior to a game, we want to leave the head and eyes down in the hitting zone for at least one count so that I can get full extension, full maximum bat speed through the ball after contact. As soon as the head and eyes leave, the barrel of the bat follows that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and run through, and then as we see, as you start to run through, then what I see here is I just see this knee sliding out over that front foot. We want to keep this knee inside this front foot so it can brace the energy coming into that front leg. We don't want it sliding forward. If it gets on top of or outside the front foot, that doesn't allow for the bat speed or the maximum amount of bat speed that we could possibly get. So when the stride foot lands right here, we're in a good position with that knee inside. Okay, now drive into that front leg, but don't let this knee, don't let it slide forward, because that doesn't brace the energy or stop the energy or absorb the energy. It just kind of continues to go forward. So we're going to lose bat speed by doing that. All right? So really the biggest thing for me at this particular time to improve what we have going on is there's your setup position. Okay? Here was your foot right here. We're going to cut that stride down to about right here. Okay? We're going to get to the stride position. And when we set that foot down, we're going to make sure that this foot is sitting at a 45-degree angle, no more open than that. That's going to keep that front hip in there. And then we're just going to set a tee on the outer third of the plate. Okay, even with or just inside your stride foot. And we're just going to check to make sure that this stride foot is where we want it. This hip is underneath us. It's not starting to open up. We're going to make sure that this knee stays inside that foot. It doesn't get outside the foot. It's going to stay inside. Okay, and now this is a ball that we're going to drive through the right side of the cage. All right, and this is a drill that many big league hitters do on a daily basis to just make sure that they're staying in a good position and staying on this ball that's out away from them. It's the toughest ball to hit. And if we can stay on it, we're going to be a much better hitter. It's also going to give us, as I mentioned before, the opportunity to hit breaking balls and change-ups with more consistency. All right, bud. Hey, thanks for coming to our camp, and best of luck.